Breaking News Report. Breaking News Report. Narito ang Breaking News Report dito lang sa DJ Raj TV. Narito ang mga balita. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee is set to hold its first hearing on the overpriced laptop orders by the Department of Education that were flagged by the Commission on Audit. To recall, it was the procurement service of the Department of Budget and Management that handled the transaction for the DepEd, the same government agency behind the questionable pandemic deals with Pharmali Pharmaceutical Corp. There are too many questions for DepEd. Why did it take so long? Why didn't they bid it out? Did they decide on the specs? Why didn't they complain about it before COA flagged the laptops? Senador Alan Peter Cayetano also told reporters earlier, ahead of the hearings. Committee Chair Senador Francis Tolentino told reporters the inquiry would largely zone in on the bidding and procurement process that went into the laptops. Here is during the committee hearing.
One of the big challenges there was how to continue learning through the pandemic and during the time of the pandemic. And one of the things that we transitioned in is from face-to-face learning to distance learning, preferably online learning. So online learning was the mode because that was being done in most advanced countries. But we found out that a lot of our students, many of our students, as well as teachers, do not have laptops and gadgets. This actually prompted me to file a bill, what I call the One Learner, One Laptop Bill, to solve this issue. But Congress heard the problem and we allocated money. We allocated 4 billion pesos to buy gadgets for our teachers and our learners. Hence, we are here right now trying to exert accountability on that amount that we allocated. So, Mr. Chair, I was I was shocked and also dismayed when I heard this incident, knowing fully that our teachers and our learners were really struggling to buy laptops and gadgets. And USECAN knows about this because we would always talk about that during budget hearing, especially under the pandemic. So when I heard about this issue, I did my own research because all LGUs actually experience the same thing. And that's why Valenzuela also bought its own share of laptops. We couldn't wait for the national agencies to give us laptops, so in Valenzuela we bought our own. So I called our procurement office last night to ask about the laptops that we procured actually over the past few years, but I took the most recent procurement and I found out that the City of Valenzuela bought 4,400 units. I'm flashing it on the slide, Mr. Chair. 2.7 gigahertz. And the amount is about 19,990 pesos per unit. Almost a third of the price that PSDBM bought. And the specifications, if you look at the speed is way much faster, no? So let me just flash the comparative slide. So the City of Valenzuela, in terms of the specifications from DepEd through PSDBM is 1.9 gigahertz. And they priced it at 58,000 pesos. But Valenzuela bought its laptop. The specification is 2.7 gigahertz, priced at 19,900 pesos. No? So I was double shocked, Mr. President, to see such amount. And we're also a government agency. City of Valenzuela is also a government agency. 4,000 units is not a small amount, Mr. Chair. So, sa aking isip, kung nakakabili ang Valenzuela ng ganitong amount, bakit hindi nakabili ang PSDBM ng ganitong amount? No? That's my the question that went to my mind, Mr. President. So, going into the question, Mr. President, I would like to continue where Senator Pimentel left off on the bidding, on the price analysis, Mr. President, because I saw the slide earlier on the price analysis. I would like to ask Mr. Or Engineer Amil Cabanil? Abanil? Amil?
Abanil. Director Abanil. Abram Abanil.
No, Engineer
Amil.
Amil, because he's the one who prepared
Yes,
this
yes.
this price analysis.
Still
And
here.
this is actually a fundamental or basic document, Mr. President. It starts from here. And the price determination starts from this document, Mr. President. So I would like to ask Engineer Amil on how, can you walk us through the process, Engineer, on how you generated this price analysis document, which you prepared and, of course, succeedingly approved by other personalities. And then, walk us through, step by step, kung paano mo nakuha itong presyo, paano mo nakuha itong mga supplier. Walk us through.
Yes, Your Honor. During the planning stage, the planning division, our division, shall send the RFQ and then the PMOIC or the planning division promptly division.
Who?
Your Honor.
Is it you?
Yeah. Yes.
So ikaw ang nag-imbita ng supplier.
Yes, I was the one who sent the
Which suppliers to send it to?
the suppliers are common suppliers who common suppliers of PSDBM taps, Your Honor. The one who always attends or
But who determines the common supplier, and how do you determine how common is common? Is supplying one time, two time, three time common? How do you determine that if a supplier is common?
suppliers, Your Honor, the ones that joins actively on the bidding, Your Honor.
Is there a list of common supplier?
Yes, Your Honor, on the website, Your Honor.
There's a who accredits the common supplier?
It's based on the notice of award on the website, Your Honor, PS website.
Hindi. So nagpadala ka sa anim na supplier, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And itong anim na supplier supposedly are common suppliers.
Yes, the one who always attends the
Meron bang list ang PSG DPM na ito ang mga common suppliers? Meron bang ganun na na-generate?
the suppliers I was and Your Honor was based on the I based it on the notice of award, Your Honor.
Hindi. Notice of award of
That was awarded during the later years, Your Honor.
No. I just want to focus on the list of common suppliers. Meron ba tayong accredited, duly approved by PSDBM on who are the common suppliers for laptops?
I think so, Your Honor.
Meron o wala?
Meron, Your Honor.
Meron. So merong list. Tama ba po, Attorney Santiago? Is there a list, approved list of common suppliers for laptops?
As a matter of fact, Your Honor, we have done away with the pre-qualification concept. So an accreditation concept is not recognized under the law and the rules, and our records do not bear that we have a list of common laptop suppliers.
So
We have
there's no-
suppliers of laptop, but they're not, the one that you go to always.
Is there a definition for common suppliers, Attorney Santiago?
None, Your Honor. We have a definition for common use supplies, Your Honor, but not for common suppliers.
Okay. The engineer, so itong 6 na suppliers, kung walang list, accredited list, wala ring definition ng common suppliers, sino pumili nitong 6?
Yes, sir. The 6 suppliers were chose
Ikaw
during
lang?
planning stage.
Sino nga pumili? Sino yung nagpadala ng RFQ doon sa 6 na supplier?
Ako po, Your Honor.
So
Ako,
ikaw lang ang pumili ng 6 na supplier?
yes po. Bale, based po siya sa mga active supplier po ng laptop.
Yeah, but wala naman tayong accredited list, wala naman definition ng common supplier. So ikaw lang ang pumili kung sino ang tingin mong active. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's discretion mo pumili kung sino papadalan.
I think that was randomly, Your Honor. Before we proceed, Your Honor, we acknowledge the stress surrounding now Secretary Briones. Ma'am, if you want to go to the restroom, you may do so. We are asking the Senate physician to have you checked as well, ma'am. Can the Secretariat escort outside the hall Secretary Briones to have her checked by the Senate physician and probably go to the restroom as well. Thank you, Senator Gatchalian. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to on the topic, so discretion, tama ba? Discretion mo lang kung sino papadala ng supplier.
Yes, Your Honor. Because, Your Honor, we have only a minimum of 3 suppliers per requirement, Your Honor.
Yeah, but the selection of the suppliers is at your discretion. So kung for example, kung meron kang kakilalang supplier, yun ang papadalan.
Hindi naman po.
So have you met any of the suppliers? May kilala ka bang mga laptop suppliers?
None, Your Honor.
So itong mga 6 na suppliers na pinadala mo, kakilala mo itong mga ito?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Hindi mo kilala yung may-ari, hindi mo sila nakausap ni minsan?
Through RFQ lang po, Your Honor.
Through RFQ lang.
Request for quotation po.
But have you met them outside? Have you met them in your office? Have you interacted with them?
Not, Your Honor.
For the record, who are the 6 suppliers that you sent the RFQ to?
We have Huawei, Your Honor. Columbia Technologies, Inc. Bowman Technologies, Inc. VST ECS Phil Incorporation. We have the Advanced Solution Incorporation and the Switch Apple, Your Honor.
Advanced Solution
Incorporation and
Switch
Apple.
Switch Apple. But again, you are the ones who selected these suppliers based on your own judgment that they are common suppliers.
Yes, because they provided laptops, Your Honor. They are an IT company, Your Honor.
Attorney Santiago, do you think this is there's so much discretion given to someone who collects basic information that is a source of the decision? Is this the proper procedure, Attorney Santiago? Because parang para sa akin, laking discretion to.
Your Honor, under say for example, you do shopping, you do small value procurement under the rules. The rule is that you approach at least 3 suppliers, no? And then the purchasing officer or the procurement unit or procuring unit can approach 3 suppliers. I believe that they refer to, or more often they refer to what's listed in PhilJEPs, no? PhilJEPs registered suppliers. Normally, they can be platinum registered suppliers. So that's the reference, Your Honor. But yes, they will have to choose from those lists or go out of those lists and go to the physical market to do the canvas, Your Honor.
I'll go into later on. No? I'll tell you why there's so much discretion given to people who prepare this analysis. I'll go back to Engineer Amil. Itong anim na supplier, are they registered PhilJeps suppliers?
As far as I know, Your Honor.
Have you checked personally?
During sending of request for quotation, not Your Honor.
So hindi mo chinek kung PhilJeps, kung accredited sila ng PhilJeps at the very least?
Based on the since they are always supplying for PSDBM of laptop, I think they are a registered PhilJeps.
Well, I guess let's put on record that you did not personally check if these suppliers are PhilJeps suppliers or not. You just assume that they're PhilJeps suppliers. I'll go to another question, Engineer Amil. Nakita ko dito, no, approved budget for the contract price, 58,300. How did you come up with this number?
This is based on the submitted request for quotation from supplier, Your Honor.
But how did you, is there a formula that you use to come up with this? Mayroon bang high, low, the low, is there a formula? Is there a some form of logic why 58,000 was the approved budget? Because ito yung ginamit na rationale, no, for the bidding proper. Initially, it was 35,000, but it was raised to 58,000 because of your analysis na 58,000. So how did you come up with this 58,000?
We come up on the 58,000, Your Honor, because of the lowest received quotation, Your Honor, and the complying on the technical specification, Your Honor.
The lowest complying supplier. So who is that? Sino yung lowest complying supplier?
VSTES.
VSTEE. Yan ang naging basis mo.
Yes, Your Honor, during preparation of the price analysis.
What happened to Advanced Solutions and Switch Apple?
The Advanced Solution Incorporation didn't submit their request for quotation, Your Honor. And for Switch Apple, they only cater Apple brands since the tech specs is for Windows only, Your Honor.
Eh bakit mo pinadala ng app si Switch kung alam mo Apple brand siya? Alam mo naman na PC ang kailangan. Pinadala mo si Switch ng RFQ.
During that time, the planning division didn't know that Switch is a Apple.
But you said they're common suppliers. Nagsusupply na sila ng matagal na. So what did Switch supply before?
Di po ako sure, Your Honor.
Sabi mo nagsusupply na siya, di ba? So ibig sabihin matagal na nakikipagtransaksyon sa PSDBM. So ano yung binili ng PSDBM?
For Switch.
From
Your
Switch.
I will check it, Your Honor.
Hindi mo alam?
No, Your Honor.
Common supplier siya, but hindi mo alam anong sinusupply niya.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then now you tell us that exclusive Apple supplier siya. I know the owner of Switch siya. Diyan din ako bumibili. Exclusive talaga siya Apple supplier. For many, many years. For decades.
Yes, Your Honor. It was confirmed during...
Correct. So if I am going to do this canvas sheet, hindi ko siya papadalan ng RFQ because alam ko hindi siya makakasupply. So ang tanong ko, bakit mo siya pinadalan?
During the sending of RFQs, Your Honor, Switch Apple, Switch is only the company name without an Apple, Your Honor.
But you're saying you're telling us that Switch had been supplying PSDBM for a long time, no? Hence, they are what you call common suppliers. So you should probably know what type of products they are supplying PSDBM.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, hindi kaya dinagdag mo lang yung switch para makadami na na-issuehan ng RFQ? Diba? Kasi kung padadalan mo, 2, 3 lang, kulang talaga yon. So you added an entity which is really not compliant, and you know that beforehand, and yet you issued an RFQ just to quote-unquote bloat the number. Is that correct? Is that a correct assumption, or pinaiikot mo lang si Senator Gatchalian?
During planning stage, Your Honor, I didn't research well the
Muna, ano ka ba sa
switch.
planning? Are you the head of planning?
No, Your Honor.
Ano ka sa planning?
Member lang po.
Bakit ikaw nag-i-issue lahat ng RFQ? Kasi email mo lahat itong nakalagay dito. Sa pangalan mo I won't mention your email address, pero tayo lahat. Marwan Amil, pspiljeps.gov.ph. So, yung nabanggit ko kanina, thank you for sending the RFQ to Huawei, etc. etc. So, bakit ikaw? Ba't ikaw ang binigyan ng discretion ng planning office?
I was in charge, Your Honor, for the laptop na to send RFQs for price monitoring purposes only, Your Honor.
You said that anong statement po kanina? Bakit Switch ang pinadalan mo? How come Switch was the one you invited to participate?
To participate in the
RFQ.
quotation, Your Honor.
Yeah. Because you didn't know.
Based on the active supplier, Your Honor.
Yeah, you said active, but you don't know what they are supplying. Active in what?
Active in PhilJeps, Your Honor.
Yeah, what are they supplying to government?
During quotation or sending of quotation, I just know that they are catering Apple, Your Honor.
Medyo malabo kasi I think I agree with Senator Tolentino na to just to comply with that 6 supplier intention, sino-sino na lang pinadala nyo para lang for compliance. But kung mag-iisip ako ng hindi maganda, talagang sinadya niya para ma-disqualify na siya kaagad.
One basis also, Your Honor, is they also a IT company, Your Honor.
Yeah, but they cannot. There's so many IT companies, but what we're talking about here is supplying PCs, not Apple. That's the you know very well that we want to buy PCs, not Apple. But yet you sent RFQ to an Apple supplier. I have another question based on this document. I saw in the document, can we flash the document from the Secretariat? Huawei, how come Huawei was not, Huawei is cheap How come it's not, Huawei was not considered?
Their request for quotation offer with a base speed of 1.6.
And then ito si Colombia. Mas mura rin siya.
1.6 processor, Your Honor.
So they were not considered because they can only supply a lower specified a lower speed in terms of processing speed. Tama ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
My question to you is how come you still included them in your analysis? Hindi ba ako kasi in City Hall I actually created another layer what I call loosely canvas sheet. So I always require our procurement when I was a mayor, I always required our procurement agent or officer to give me a canvas sheet. Mas stringent pa nga kayo dahil 6 suppliers. Ako, I mandate them only 3 suppliers. But give me exact the same specifications. So for example, if I want them to buy 3 apples, bigyan mo ako ng 3 apples para alam ko yung presyo. Hindi 2 apples, isang banana. O isang apple, 2 banana. Ang lumabas dito, he requested 6 suppliers. Isa apple ang sinusupply niya, kaya disqualify na siya. Yung isa, I don't know what happened. 4 nilang inatira. Yung 6, sinulat mo pa kahit alam mo na below specifications yung kanyang gustong isupply. How come you didn't replace them with other suppliers who can supply at 1.9 gigahertz? Di ba common sense you want to compare apple to apples? You eliminated 4 suppliers right away.
This is based on the submitted quotation, Your Honor.
Yeah, I know. But how come you didn't take the initiative? Alam mo naman, 1.6 eh. Ba't hindi mo pinalitan sila? Anyone who can, sa dami ng suppliers sa Pilipinas, no one can supply 1.9 gigahertz?
Yung 6 lang po yung sinendan ko po, Your Honor.
Yeah, ikaw na nga pumili kung sino papadala ng supplier. Ikaw ang may power para humingi, palitan tong other suppliers. Hindi mo pa ginawa.
Dr. Gatchalian, perhaps during the next hearing, the committee will be requiring you to produce any written authority that gave you that right to determine the number of suppliers who will qualify as well as to issue the RFQ. Give us that one piece of paper showing that you are really authorized. You are really authorized to do what you have been telling us right now. Because from your answers, it would seem that verbally somebody is behind your back, just telling you what to do, puppet-wise, quote-unquote, to such a point that your discretionary power is something that is being exercised by another person. Produce that paper and we will invite you again. I saw direct the committee secretary. Please proceed, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. But Mr. Chair, my track here is that discretion actually eliminated competition, Mr. Chair. And that discretion led to the increase of the price from 30,000 to 58,000. That discretion also led to 30,000 teachers without any laptops. So ganun po ka-powerful yung discretion ni Engineer Amir na dahil po sa kanyang ginawa, 30,000 teachers po natin nawalan po ng laptops. At binigay yung 30,000 na nakukuha, mas mababang specifications. That's my point, Mr. Chair. So either from this document alone, it can dictate the whole process of the bidding. It can dictate actually how many teachers, what price, all of that, Mr. Chair. This is the basic document, Mr. Chair. And this basic document that we probably some people took for granted is empowered and gave a lot of discretion to a person like Engineer Amil.
Senator, he was able, if acting alone, to change the entire legislative intent of the Bayanihan Law, which was to really provide connectivity to the learners. Dahil sa isang tao, nawala ng access yung ating mga guro na magbigay ng mahigit 30,000 magbigay ng quality education during the lockdown period dahil dun sa ginawa niya. So, yun po yung sinasabi ni Senator Gatchalian.
That's why, Mr. Chair, when I was a mayor, I always required our procurement officer to give me apples to apples comparison, hindi apples to oranges, apples to banana, para malaman natin yung totoong presyo. That's my point, Mr. Chairman. And from the this price analysis, clearly, Mr. Engineer Amir did not take the initiative to revise that 1.6 gigahertz quotation. Sana naman nakita mo naman 1.6, sana naman sinabi mo taasan nyo or magpalit ka na lang ng supplier. So we get the full picture.
Reporting DJ Raj in TV. At your service. Please follow and like or share our FB page. For more request your video comment down below.